Fear Factor Live has officially closed. Yes, it's true. And as well as our usual stuff, we are going to take a look at Disney's Genie Plus and how it compares to Universal Orlando's Express Pass system. This is episode 478 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to another show. They all took a week off last week, but they are back with me for this week is Tracy.
Hello.
And Michelle.
Hello, hello.
And Christopher.
What's that?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Going.
Busy.
Good. Adulting. Fun.
Adulting, yes.
Fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. I can't believe we're nearly at the end of Halloween Horror Nights. I know it doesn't really make much difference to us, but it's like we're nearly at the end of the year.
Not panicking about that.
Yeah, it'll be January 1st next week.
Yes.
It sure will.
The top 10 houses this year are interesting at the moment. I am enjoying putting everyone's votes together. The number one without a doubt. There's nothing anywhere near it. Put it that way.
That's weird because I had a hard time with those top three. I think I switched them probably 10 times.
So every house has had the number that the person put it at. So if you put it number one, it got 1 point. So obviously the house with the least amount of points is the top house. The second place house is at least 50 points behind it.
Wow, that is surprising to me.
So yes.
Okay.
Huh.
I'm not surprised.
Interesting.
I think it would have been mine had I got to go. But anyway.
But you didn't and you're salty.
Just a little bit.
We didn't know.
No. Right. Let's get into this anyway, because we've got a lot to get to. So first off, of course, we will pass it over to Seth for Little Things.
Hi, this is Seth Kabursky, author of the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando, and I'm back with another look at all the little things that are new around the Universal Orlando Resort. As October comes to a close, the crowds, which were light in September, have certainly returned to Universal Orlando. On weekends, we've seen triple-digit wait times for some of the popular attractions. Along with the crowds, we've seen the return of some dining and shopping options. Mobile ordering has returned to the Universal Orlando smartphone app for many more quick-service restaurant locations. Everything from the Today Cafe in Universal Studios Florida to Feasting Frog in Volcano Bay is once again offering mobile ordering. Reports are that it is working somewhat smoother than it had before it was shut down. In terms of shopping, the travel-themed Globus Mundi store in Diagon Alley at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Universal Studios Florida is once again open after having been closed for several months. And out in City Walk, construction continues on the exterior of the Quiet Flight Surf Shop, but don't worry because you can still pose for a photo on the surfboard, which is still available outside of the store. Something else that is available now is Dufftoberfest. The signature seasonal beer over at Simpson's Fast Food Boulevard has returned to both Duff Gardens and Moe's Tavern. Just be aware that Duff Gardens is closed off to day guests starting around 3:30 p.m. on Halloween Horror Nights, even though the park doesn't close until 5. Couple other minor construction notes. In Islands of Adventure, Dr. Doom's Fear Fall recently replaced the tops of the towers, which had been removed earlier. The ride is kept operating throughout the refurbishment. Refurbishments have expanded at Camp Jurassic in Jurassic Park, where most of the walk-through playground has been blocked off with construction walls, and scaffolding can be seen around the rope climbs. Construction walls also continue to expand around the Carousel in Seuss Landing. Seems like that will be a large project to get that attraction operating again. Speaking of Seuss Landing, holiday decor for Grinchmas has already gone up all around the island with colorful garland and other holiday decorations. And last but not least, Universal finally confirmed that Fear Factor Live is dead. The attraction will not be returning after Halloween Horror Nights ends, and the stadium will be removed for an unannounced new attraction. And to close, an organization known as ETIAS put out a report recently naming Universal Studios Hollywood as the most expensive theme park in the world on a dollar per ride basis. Well, Universal Orlando fans don't feel left out because it turns out that Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida also made that list's top 10. Okay, that's all for this time. I'll be back in another couple of weeks with some more little things. You can find me at theunofficialguides.com or on Twitter at theUGSeries. And until next time, I'm Seth Kaburski, keeping an eye on all those little things for you.
Looking at mobile ordering, let's go through these a bit at a time. Michelle, how did you use mobile ordering when you were down there last week?
I did not.
Well, that's ruled that
So
one out.
sorry. Couldn't be any help.
So how were the crowds then? So Seth said that, like, we've noticed watching vlogs and stuff, how the crowds seem to be getting back to normal levels.
It was definitely crowded. I 1%er did not. I'm just gonna call it.
She's
like how you just-
acknowledging it. Yes, all right.
God, finally.
I hate to even say it because I knew that was coming, so I just called it myself. So I did. Robin and I did a non-private RIP or VIP tour on the only day that we had in the parks. So
You did a VIP tour.
non-private VIP tour. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's supposed to make you feel better when she says non-private. It's going to be her and Robin alone next time.
She's
Yeah.
been desperate for us to do one since she tried to get us to do one when we
She
came
just
on
wants you
for
to
the
do one.
weekender.
Yeah. Which was amazing, but I didn't, because that was a full day of rides. I didn't do any mobile ordering or anything. They gave us breakfast and lunch. So 1%er.
Yeah. I noticed like Horror Nights wise, crowd levels have been, like the houses have been way busier.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of crowds for sure.
Now, aside from writing everything, front of line, all that fun jazz, anything extra you got out of it that you maybe didn't know already, like you would in an RIP tour?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They took us under the mummy ride, which
All
was
right, the production
cool.
tour, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They said that they don't include the immigration tour anymore since that's pretty easy to do on your own without the tour.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you do the
I
one at
did
Fallon?
Go up in the bar, you mean?
No, there's a backstage tour.
Oh, backstage tour. No. We
Okay.
didn't, but we did get to go up in the bar area.
Cool. Been there, done that.
I learned a few things. I learned that, and you guys may have known this, but to me, I was like, hey, cool.
Oh, God.
I learned that Transformers and Spider-Man have the exact same, like, everything, except Transformers is 2 stories.
Michelle, I wish you'd like not say things.
I didn't realize that. Because for me, I never notice on Transformers that I'm ever, like, going up, whereas on Spider-Man, I feel like I'm physically going up another story. So that was weird to me.
Everyone's listening now going, why is this woman on this podcast?
I swear we haven't spoken about this.
Oh,
I don't even listen to us, and I know this.
Hang on, Michelle. you know this podcast was going like 9 years before you joined?
her first episode was one before she joined.
That's not
Okay,
true.
you know, I don't always listen when Lee talks, okay?
Oh, we know that. Nobody does.
True.
Do you know that there's 2 hidden Iron Men in the Spider-Man ride?
I know there's one on the side of a building somewhere.
There's 2
it's
of them.
upstairs. There's one when you're flying around after you've been hit by the anti-gravity cannon. There's a big spray painted one on the side of one of the buildings. I don't know where the other one is.
Aha. I know something you don't then. And I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to look for it.
So I've got to wait a year.
Yes.
I'll just go and watch a YouTube video.
So that was the last ride that we rode for the day, and I'd obviously been on it a lot, but he was like, all right, so since you don't really want to watch the ride, let me have you find the 4 Stan Lees and 2 hidden Iron Men. So that's what I was doing the whole time.
4? I thought there was a lot more than that in there.
No, there's 4
Are
hidden
you sure?
Stan Lees. I'm according to my VIP tour, yes.
And
He's worked there for 18 years.
I think there's more than that in there. I may be
I
wrong.
didn't see any.
Anyway,
Nope.
It's interesting
Anyway.
that you start talking about that, because originally the second half of this episode was supposed to be Thomas Stidman actually did one recently, the VIP. I always want to call it an RP, a VIP tour, and he actually sent us in a little audio recording. But because of what happened at Disney this week, we're going to cover that. So we will play that at some point, Thomas. I promise. which would have worked out quite well with Michelle doing one. Michelle, how much was it?
It wasn't really that bad, which is why I booked it. It was like, I don't know, maybe $200 a person or something, but it was literally all day, 2 parks and front of the line access. We got front of the line for Hagrid's, front of the line for Velocicoaster.
It's actually
cool.
pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, it was worth it. We were exhausted by the end of the day. And let me tell you, going backstage on Velocicoaster was a little creepy because there's a lot of stair climbing when you're in a VIP tour, but you're going through back doors and back entrances and things. And so you go into the Raptor container, which is the backstage area, and the stairs that you have to climb are like the metal mesh kind of deal.
I don't like those.
And they're really, really high. And it's really, really creepy. So I was like, is this part of the attraction? Because I'm pretty freaked out right about now. But yeah, it was kind of cool. One of the ladies that was with us puked everywhere after the ride. It was nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Lovely.
wow.
Well,
That's an extreme reaction.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting might happen when I ride it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Just point the
So
other way
it
from
was
me.
a fun day for sure.
Cool. Awesome.
So had nothing to do with mobile ordering. That little
That's fine. Well,
Is
no,
that
because we were
is
talking
that
about
what
the
we're
crowds.
talking
weren't we?
about?
No, we were going on the
Okay.
crowds at that point, and
Yeah.
that's where the 1% thing came. So Quiet
Yeah.
Flight,
Yes.
right? Is Quiet Flight the last non-Universal store open in City Walk?
Possibly.
Because Pick and Fossil and Trading Company, whatever, Island Trading, whatever the hell that place was called, have all gone for the new store.
Yeah, there's a
Probably.
tattoo shop. Is a tattoo shop Universal?
Yeah,
or-
I wouldn't. Is that,
Is that a
yeah?
store?
I wouldn't. Nah.
Sell
it's part of
t-shirts,
the-
so-
yeah, but it's
kinda.
not the same because it's kind of attached to something else that's there. But just a standalone, like it doesn't make sense. It's never made
yeah, I
sense.
think so.
Those stores on that corner have never made sense to me at Universal. Really.
I've shopped in them though. I kind of like shopping when I'm on vacation.
What for stuff that you can get back at home?
I can't get any of that stuff back home.
There's a
I
reason.
personally like the surf shop.
There's a
I
cut
buy a
through.
new hat every time I go there. That's about it.
Tracy Dufftoberfest.
Yes.
I know you don't like it.
I mean, if I was forced to, I'd drink it.
Chris, Michelle,
But-
are you beer drinkers at all?
No.
That's more Alexa. I'll drink beer, and I actually don't mind the Dufftoberfest. It's not bad. So, but Alexa is the more beer drinker.
It's just slightly too bitter for
Which
me.
is you and
know.
you and me, like you and Alexa are like me and Tracy. Like she's the beer drinker and I'm not.
She's a beer.
So
and
let
you're-
me get Chris. When you and Alexa go out to a bar and you order a pint and something else that's not a beer, does the bartender always put the pint or beer down in front of you?
It's happened before.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious. I love it. I think it's funny when it happens.
It was the Guinness.
Or they'll go
That
like
was the
we
funniest
always
one.
used to get a pint of beer and a Coke, and he'd turn to me and I'd turn to Tracy and go, "Do you want ice and lemon in it?" What, in my beer? No.
It was Guinness. Fucking Guinness. I think not.
They hand Tracy the sour apple martini.
It's
There you go.
hilarious. It's hilarious.
With the umbrella. Don't forget the umbrella. He likes those.
I am a little salty that the decorations have gone up for Christmas and Halloween hasn't even finished yet. And I know it's in the other park, but come on.
It's a little.
It's only, listen, okay, I do know about this too. It's only at Seuss Landing, and it's only because
No, it's
they
not.
were doing.
No, it's not.
Where else is it? Because I didn't see it anywhere.
Decorations have just gone up in Port of Entry as well.
When?
This weekend.
30 minutes
They were
ago.
not there while I was there. Anyway, they're filming promotional videos right
Okay.
now. That's why they're gone up so early.
But yeah, I've seen
So,
photos of...
Get your panties out of a wad. It's for a reason.
I don't care.
I care. There's
In what-
Christmas decorations up everywhere.
I hate
Like
it.
in the stores selling stuff. Halloween's not over yet. All the Halloween stuff was on clearance like a week and a half ago already.
I mean, that's not a bad thing, is it? If you're still decorating for Halloween, you can still get all your stuff on discount.
It's
Yeah.
not, but I'm walking into like Christmas stores now. Basically, when you go to Target or
Yeah.
Home Depot or Walmart, it's ridiculous.
Well, I agree that that's ridiculous, but at Universal, they're trying to film promotional videos for the holidays. So
That makes sense.
Cut them some slack,
Yeah.
guys.
I'm not mad
Cut
with the
'em some
Grinchmas
slack.
area because it's like that's
Grinchmas
separate
is
from
Christmas.
Horror Nights. Yeah, and that's like not in the same park, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I didn't notice it at all, but I didn't walk through Seuss Landing, but I did walk through Port of Entry and did not see anything.
Well,
So,
I've definitely seen pictures on blog posts at the weekend that Port of Entry has Christmas decorations up.
well, the last day I was there was Friday, so
Well, that
fair
wasn't
enough.
the
It could have
weekend,
been
was it?
Saturday.
Is it a surprise that Universal Studios Hollywood is the most expensive theme park per ride? There's not a lot there.
It kind of does surprise me. I would think Disney is.
Yeah, the per ride
which
thing is where
one?
they get you because if they put everything into account, I think Disney takes the cake.
I think so too. Hollywood Studios and Epcot have like nothing there
Yeah.
right now.
And I'm sorry, but when you're talking quality over quantity as well.
Yeah, but what
I'd take
has
Universal
Hollywood,
rides.
You've got to think though, 50% of Universal Studios Hollywood is the tram tour. Beyond
That's
that,
awesome.
yeah, but you're talking how many attractions it's got. There isn't many.
Correct. They don't in Hollywood. You're right.
So when it comes down to that, I mean, yes, that takes up a good hour of your day, but
Yeah, it's hard to rate the tram tour as just a ride.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a ride, but
yeah,
it encompasses many rides ish.
Yeah.
And it's a lot cooler than other rides. I'd like give up a few rides for that one tram tour. I've never done it, but I feel like I would.
yeah. It's the thing. Let's be honest. Being Universal Orlando fans, it's the thing you'd go to Universal Hollywood for. Like you would go and have a ride of everything
100%.
else that's the same as what's there, just to see what they were like. But you're going for the tram tour.
It still surprises me that Epcot didn't make number one. There's like nothing there.
It depends what the class as ride. Like, are they talking attractions or rides? Because Epcot has a lot. If you count attractions, it's what they're actually specifying as something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Epcot's got bugger all.
I'm sure they did their homework on that, but that little caveat of per ride
Yeah.
really needs to be bolded.
I think Universal Studios Florida was like number 3 or 4. I had a quick look at it, and then the actual website I found with it on didn't have number 10 on it. It was like the top 10 most expensive theme parks, and it only went up to 9. Which made me laugh. Yeah, it was brilliant. So,
They evidently didn't put my local county fair on their radar, because to me that's the most expensive theme park ever. Like, I can pay just as much to go to my local fair because you have to pay per ride.
that sounds like familiar. Something we're going to talk about later.
And it does. And pretty much buy a ticket to Universal instead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
yeah. Let's be honest. Like, you're talking about Universal Disney. Of course, they're going to be expensive. You talk world-class theme parks. It's not like it's not a Six Flags over Alabama, is it?
What's that? Jesus. Wow.
But it's not, is it? It's
I'm
like,
laughing because he's accurate. No offense to our Alabama listeners.
it's the first place I could think of. Anyway, right. Let's get
What,
into
that's
it.
a place, is it? I want a postcard.
I'm sure there is. Let's be honest. There's some weird place names in America. We know that. And over here for that matter. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the big news we've had in the last week. Well, it's been rumored for like the last 10 years, but it's actually happened
What? We're going out to Orlando.
2 days earlier than we were supposed to be. Yeah.
It's been rumored. It feels like 10 years.
It feels like-
Anyway, yes. So we mentioned it in our rumours a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Seth told us in Little Things. He said it's been confirmed by Universal Orlando that Fear Factor Live at Universal Studios Florida has officially closed, or as he said, is dead.
yeah.
You know.
it's dead.
Yeah.
I need that in a t-shirt.
The
witch is dead.
So yeah, as Seth said, it's going to be removed, but for what? Well, that's anyone's guess. Something wicked this way comes probably. So yeah, let the speculation begin.
I mean, let's be honest. It's got to be Wizarding World, and we probably
It's
won't
going to
know
be.
what
Of
it
course,
is
it's going to be.
until a week before it opens. Actually,
Yep,
to be
it's gonna
fair, they've got a little bit better at announcing stuff. I think Velocicoaster...
What, like a week after?
No, they kind of...
Has Velocicoaster actually had an official announcement?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Because it came last year. It was actually, for Universal, relatively early. I mean, to be fair, it was half built at the time, but It just we talked about it 2 weeks ago. I think the biggest thing at this point for us and for most people isn't what's going in there. It's where they're going to put that show next year at Horror Nights.
Yeah.
The perfect idea was Blue Man Group's theater. Why did we not think of that?
Yeah, I will be interested to see. Are you guys going down for the holidays this year? Either of you?
I mean, it's not
Absolutely.
planned, but
yeah, it'll be interesting.
She'll
to
be
see.
there.
It'll be interesting to see then, Chris, how they handled that going into that theater.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see it in a different place because obviously we've seen that show in the same building for years now.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing it in a new building, seeing if they kind of expand on that because it's obviously a bigger stage presence, can fit a lot more people. Definitely think that next year they'll probably put the show over there and give them even more space to do things.
My biggest issue is if they do switch the Halloween Horror Nights show, so say Nightmare Fuel comes back next year, and they switch it to that Blue Man Group theatre. So they're going to be funneling people through
that's quite
that cut through between Rip Ride Rocket and Minions, is it?
mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
At a congested area of the park already. Like the main area of the park where you've got 3 or 4 houses going in, plus everyone coming into the park and leaving the park. That's going to be a difficult one to police with people waiting for the next show. It'd be interesting to see how they deal with it.
There's a pretty big waiting area though out in front of the theater.
But the thing is, that's outside of the park at that point. That's the
Well,
Not if they close the gate.
Yeah, they can close the gate in the other, like the front, and or make a fake gate to go there.
Yeah.
Can't be any worse than standing in front of Fear Factor now.
No,
Like,
that's
exiting-
super congested.
Yeah, exiting and going inside of Nightmare Fuel, whether you're outside or inside the gate or whatnot, it's just a giant crowd. So,
Oh yeah.
this is not much different.
And
in
it's
my
right
opinion.
next to Scary, the entrance and exit of Scary, and it's like
Yeah, but you can
It's-
bypass that. You can bypass that across that bridge. You can still go to Fear Factor, but then if you just want to go over to Men in Black or those houses there, you can cross that little bridge that goes over kind of across to Springfield. So you don't even have to go that way. You haven't got that option around that area of the park.
they'll manage it.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
be-
but I'm just, you know
It'll
what
be
I mean?
fine. It'd probably be similar to what they did for Hagrid's before they had virtual queues for that, where they kind of had separate backstage holding areas and
Yeah.
they had somebody cutting off the line so that crowds could pass by, and then they would stop the crowds and let the line, come through. So they'll probably do something like that, but I don't see it being a big issue, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, I hope they just make a all year long stage show. Give us another one.
Yeah. Yeah, they need more. We've said this before, that there's not a lot of long attractions at Universal, because times when, Michelle, you'll probably know from this weekend, you're knackered, you don't want to go back to the hotel, you want to stay in the park, but you don't just want to sit and do nothing. So you look at like the Magic Kingdom, you think, I'm tired, but I still want to be kind of entertained. You get on the People Mover, or you get on the
Right.
Magic
Carousel
Kingdom
of Progress.
Railroad, or the Carousel of Progress. Yeah. Epcot, you've got bits and bobs in there. Hollywood Studios, you've got Indiana Jones, you've got Little Mermaid. Which one am I missing? Animal Kingdom. I suppose you've got Rafiki's Planet Watch or wherever you go. Nemo the musical isn't there anymore. Festival of Anything. You've got longer attractions to be entertained whilst just catching your breath. Universal don't really have that. You've got Bourne and Horror Makeup.
Which I love. The only thing that stinks is they're both in the front of the park.
And that's about it.
Yeah. Islands has nothing right now.
No, not with Sinbad having gone.
Nothing. Yeah, and that stage show at Horror Nights is kind of what that is for me too. Like, it's really entertaining, but it's also a good chance to sit down for a little while.
You need those.
I mean, what if Fear Factor actually gets turned into some sort of Potter stage show?
Give me a ride, man.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I want it. I'm
don't
just telling
think
you.
Will.
I think you need a ride in that corner.
I mean, Michelle, you said it a couple of weeks ago, that broomstick thing that's been doing the rounds for a while. But for me, the Ministry of Magic's what should go there.
That would be cool.
Oh yeah, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Wasn't it obviously way before Hagrid's, wasn't it always rumoured a Forbidden Forest was going to go in there?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going back
Yeah,
I'm going
it's
back
been
a
the long
while.
rumor.
Because I seem to remember...
But that wouldn't fit now with Hagrid's being the other park.
Yep.
I seem to remember having Jim Hill on a long time ago when Diagon Alley was first opening, and he said there's a gate somewhere in Diagon Alley that goes to a backstage area, but is there where you can see straight through.
Celestina Warbeck.
Is that where it is?
Yep,
It
that
goes
gate right back there. See
straight through
the-
into Fear
Yep.
Factor. Yeah, so it's obviously been built with it in mind that they wanted to expand Diagon Alley. So it's probably been planned for a long time.
I think so. And I swear somebody showed me once upon a time some type of, what was it? I don't think it was permits, but something similar to that where they were getting something for that broomstick ride.
Yeah, I know originally, and I remember when we had Andy Tracy on Hate to Fly,
Oh
when
yeah.
we talked about stuff that was supposed to be at Islands of Adventure, and there was supposed to be, it was effectively the High in the Sky Zoo's trolley train ride over Hogsmeade, but you were on broomsticks. That was in the original plans, which would have been pretty
Pretty
cool,
cool.
actually. It would have spoiled
Yeah.
the sight lines a little bit because you would have had, obviously, some sort of track above it, but it would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
If the track went like in front of the dragon and you had to narrowly miss the fire,
Yeah, that
that'd be
would be
fun, right?
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Again, it just annoys me a little bit that it's studios getting all the love. You know, Mummy's getting a refurb, Shrek's going down for something, Fear Factor's getting knocked
Yeah.
down for something.
The past two things were at Islands, Velocicoaster and Hagrid's.
True.
And two biggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like I said a couple of weeks ago, if you look at what Universal Studios Florida is now compared to 10 years ago, it's an entirely different park.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you compare Islands of Adventure 10 years ago, it's a little bit different.
I really wish Islands would do something with that theater in Toon Lagoon because it's huge.
Yep.
There's fans. It's in the shade. Give me some show where I can sit down and relax for a bit in that park, please.
Even, let's be honest, Sinbad wasn't amazing, but it was all right. It was a laugh. I didn't mind it. Like, you've still got to
Right.
appreciate it for a live stunt show inside a theme park. It was decent.
I always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And yet, once they got rid of that, I mean, I'm still waiting for the announcement that Poseidon's Fury is not reopening, because surely if it was
It's
going to,
unlikely.
it would have done by now. And we've heard nothing.
Well, there are walls up, but I don't know what's going on.
But once you removed Sinbad and then COVID hit, the Lost Continent was nothing. There's nothing there. There hasn't been anything really there for quite a while. And now there's no reason to actually visit it unless you go into Mythos. Or
Yep, that's the only
passing
reason.
through. Yeah,
Yeah, it still brings back a feeling of nostalgia
it does.
to me.
Yeah, but for
when you
people
walk
that
through.
haven't been before,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, what
Zero
is this
emotional
area?
attachment to it.
You
Yeah,
walk
100%.
into it and go, what's the point in this land? There's nothing here to do. There's literally nothing here to do.
Well, you can get
Yeah.
your family crest imprinted on a coin.
I don't think that's there anymore.
Well, tear the land down.
I'm sure Seth mentioned it
Yeah,
on
the-
Little Things a few weeks ago that
Yeah, the
wasn't
forge
there
is
anymore.
gone, yeah.
Sorry, I don't listen to the
Yeah.
podcast that I speak on as well. So
The Halloween store is there, and that's pretty cool.
That's closing shortly, I do believe. I saw someone post
if they
something the
do
other day.
get rid of it, they got to do something with the fountain.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we've just talked about that on here before, haven't we? That, yeah. They could put that literally anywhere and theme it to anything,
Very true.
and it would work. Put it in Hogsmeade and theme it to, I don't know, something. Put it in Port
Put
of
it in
Entry.
Port of Entry.
Yeah. See,
Ooh.
great minds.
Sometimes we have great minds.
All the time. But this is what I mean about islands. You've got two lands now with Toon Lagoon and Lost Continent that are kind of just eh. If you're not riding water rides, you're not going into Toon Lagoon, and as I say, there's nothing in Lost Continent to make you want to go in there. It's such a shame because Like we said on the Producers Club episode we did a couple of weeks ago, Islands of Adventure was the park that Tracy and I fell in love with. It's what made us fall in love with Universal. And now it's still, I still love the land, but I think I've said the last couple of trips, it's the park out of the two that we spent the least amount of time in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Same here.
sad, really. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. Chris, for
Well.
our religious listeners, we've got some more Rock of the Universe news.
Oh, we do. We do. So for all you Rock the Universe fans, Universal has added Crowder to the list of acts. Yep, I said that right. Crowder. To the list of acts that will perform during Universal Orlando's Rock the Universe 2022. The, quote, All My Hope singer will take the main stage on Friday, January 28th. Crowder released his fourth studio album, Milk and Honey, earlier this year, and has seen massive success with his hit singles, Good God Almighty and In the House. Crowder's infectious energy and electric sound will once again bring Rock the Universe fans together for an unparalleled experience.
Not wanting to be disparaging, but anyone? Anyone?
Nothing.
Milk and
I
Honey
got
hasn't
nothing.
been his best album, but you know,
Are you
it's all right.
being sarcastic, Chris?
I don't know, am I?
I don't know. Have you heard it?
Isn't he always?
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
I've never heard of him.
Well, I'm sure our Rock the Universe fans have.
Of course. I'm sure John Self will get in touch with me and tell me he's like one of the biggest Christian rock singers ever. And
Just 'cause it's not our
shoot me down
scene,
'cause I
so...
don't know anything about it. But yeah, again, like we said before, it's cool. If that's your thing, if you're a religious person into Christian rock and
Even if you're
festivals
not
and
a
that,
religious
right,
person, you're into Christian rock.
going
Go have some fun.
to Universal Orlando to do this is awesome.
think
It's so cool.
I think it's great they have
Yeah.
things like this.
As we said, Horror Nights they've got their thing, and this is the opposite side.
It sure is.
Cool. Moving on, Tracy.
Yes.
Some Producers Club birthdays.
Absolutely my pleasure. Nice little handful this time. We are going to start... Well, let's start at the end of the month. Almost October, babies. October? Halloween.
Tomorrow. Not today as
Yeah.
this comes out.
So we're going to kick off with October the 26th. It's a lovely Austin Cleary's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And then we have birthday twins the 28th. We have David Ross's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
And also Jason Montegut.
I don't know.
Tell me if I've got that
Montague.
wrong. Montague?
Montague.
Oh, and Capulets. It's Jason's birthday. Happy birthday.
Jason, let us know.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, tell me.
Happy birthday.
You all know I'd prefer to know how to pronounce your names. And then we slip over into November. And it's the lovely Chris Natalini's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday,
And-
Chris. Another Chris.
And
There's
finally,
a lot of Chris's in there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's too many of them.
The
Finally-
Guild of Chris's.
And finally, on November the 3rd. Last but not least, it is Corey Hall's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Corey.
Feliz cumpleaños,
I knew
Corey.
we'd get it. Right, I want to
Happy
jump...
birthday, everybody. I'm not finished. Shut up.
Jesus.
Happy birthday. Have a great time, guys.
Michelle should actually be jumping in with another one. She is not a Producers Club member, but as we found out today, it is the wonderful Julie Zimmerman's birthday today.
Is.
Oh.
I don't know whether she listens. Probably not. But happy birthday, Julie, anyway.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Julie.
Happy birthday, Julie.
And if you want your birthday read out on the show, Michelle, what should people do?
Not call
They
here.
should. They should email UUOPproducers@gmail.com. Thank you. Thank you.
Chris, you have teased it about the last 2 news episodes, so for about a month at this point. Are you actually going to ever do this giveaway for the Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I mean, the last one was a hard tease. It kind of said almost everything
There we
to do
go.
there.
So we need to actually do it.
Let us, yes. So if you have seen it, we are giving away a amazing Beetlejuice figurine that was designed by Andrew Stonecipher. If you don't know who he is one of the great minds behind probably some merch you have at home already.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of like 3 guys that do all the merch for Universal.
Yeah, I was telling Jade that
Mich-
the other day, actually, obviously, because she's a budding artist. I was telling her that creative team that put all that artwork together is 3 people, and it blew her
Yeah.
mind.
It's crazy because you think it's like an entire
team,
like crew
Yeah.
of guys. Yeah. But yeah, Michelle and I both got to meet up with him, talk with him, and he was gracious enough to sign one of these Beetlejuice figures to UUOP. So we are giving one of those away. Now, in order to win this, right, you have to send in your house list from 1 to 10. And even if you didn't go,
No, hang on, because I've had
videos.
people ask this. You don't need to send in your house list. That doesn't matter. So you don't need to send that in. But that's people sending them in is going to give what Chris is about to explain what we're going to want for you to be in with a chance to win this.
So the way to win this is you are going to give us the top house and the bottom house.
Yes.
And this may sound complicated, but I promise it's not. Give us your top house, bottom house. If anybody gets it, both top and bottom.
Yeah. So basically,
so
we're
you're
doing. So
guessing
we're
what the
inviting
rate-
our listeners in to
Right.
rank the top 10 houses. I am putting all those rankings together, and we will have, like we did for 2019, a definitive listeners top 10, the ranking from one being the best, 10 being the worst, and we're asking people to guess what the number 1 house in that list will be, and what the number 10 house in that list will be.
Yeah. So it's a game of chance.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris
Give
and
a
I will
chance.
work on the wording when we actually post it in the Producers Club, and we'll.
I would, because I'm very
Yes.
confused.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
It's there in the mind. It's just getting it out.
Me
Yeah.
and Chris have been going back and forwards on it, going, I know what I want to say and I understand it, but I don't know whether
There's
people
just a
will. I'm
brain
like,
to
we'll
mouth-
get there. We'll get there.
Brain to mouth
Yes.
malfunction going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and if there are multiple people that pick both things or whatnot, there's a way that we randomize it out and pick somebody from there. But this one does require your participation. So that's what we're trying to make a point
Yeah.
here. So send us.
It can always come down to sealed bids.
Yeah, because because this is a bonus giveaway, it's not part of the 2 that we normally do. Me and Chris were like, we're going to make them work for it.
Yeah.
They can jump through some hoops.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, for this item though, there should be some big hoops to jump through because
Yeah. You're literally
So
getting a one-of-a-kind
good.
item
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
drew like a sandworm on the side of it.
oh
and
man,
it's just awesome.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. Cool.
yeah.
Right. While you're thinking about those and potentially getting your answers in, if you're a Producer Club member, this is just for the Producer Club, by the way. Everyone else listen, if you want to get involved, join the Producer Club. Otherwise, sorry. And while you're sorting that out and emailing us to join the Producers Club, it is time to take a quick break and hear from our wonderful sponsors, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company.
Have you taken a stroll down Diagon Alley and visited Gringotts Bank? Taken a ride through New York with Jimmy Fallon? Visited the Truffler Trees in Zeus Landing or hung out with a real-life Transformer? No? Then what are you waiting for? At Universal Orlando Resort, there truly is an option for everyone. Or if you're leaning a little more towards pixie dust rather than ones and portions, Disney destinations around the globe await your arrival. No matter the adventure, our sponsors have you covered. Be sure to let the experts at Mouse and Muggle Travel Company take care of all your travel needs. Earning the distinction of being an earmarked agency specializing in Disney destinations, as well as becoming one of the first to be named a U Preferred agency with Universal Parks and Resorts Vacations. Mouse and Muggle Travel Company will ensure you receive top-rate customized service. Just visit mouseandmuggle.com to fill out a non-obligation quote request, or send your request to info@mouseandmuggle.com. Their team can take care of you no matter where in the world you go. With a flick of their wand and a little bit of pixie dust, the process will be so seamless, some might even say it's simply magical.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here talking about Universal Orlando, and it is time for a... I'm going to put a little caveat on this one. This isn't going to count. Sorry, Xavier, but I'm just going to put that out there. But we're still going to play the clip. It's a Rate My Crepe, by the way.
Alright guys, this is Xavier. I'm here with Luke. We're from Universal Food Blog. And we both got crepes. I got the Oreo because love the Oreo. But you guys heard me talk about that before. Luke is going to tell you guys about the raspberry passion fruit crepe and his thoughts on it.
So I gotta say this crepe, I've had a few of the other ones, like savory ones, and one of the other sweet ones which would be the lemon and blueberry. But this one sounded really good because it's a seasonal, but it's also raspberry and passion fruit, which I feel like would work really good together. And I got the crepe, and it does actually work really well together. I will say that the first initial bites, you don't really get much of the red velvet. And I guess I should probably explain. It's raspberry passion fruit, red velvet, and then cinnamon streusel. I think it could do without the cinnamon streusel, or they may use a little bit too much on it, but it does really work well with it. It's got like a tiny bit of a crunch when everything else is so like light. And it's kind of hard to explain that because the entire thing is actually like really heavy. It's very weird. It's like cream, very thin kind of cake layers. And most of that cake's actually towards the bottom, and most of that cream is lifted on top. But overall, the flavors, especially from the raspberry and the passion fruit, work really well together. But just expect a lot of those forward raspberry flavors on the top of it, and then more of that red velvet towards the bottom. But overall, it's a solid crepe.
All right, that's it. Thanks. Bye.
So as I said, right from
Where
the
does
very
solid land on the chart?
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, I said, and just to not have Gillian pull my head off, we're not counting seasonal crepes.
Mm-hmm.
Although it does sound amazing, by the way.
That sounds literally sounds so good.
Secondly, Xavier, me and you have gone back and forwards enough over this. He didn't rate it. So it doesn't count anyway. He didn't actually rate it out of
This was
5.
a review my crepe.
But I still wanted to play it because it actually was a really good review of that crepe, and it sounds.
And I really want one now.
Really nice. I just want any of them.
Sounds really
from there.
heavy though.
A passion fruit.
Yeah.
Love me some passion fruit.
I don't mind it in moderation, but with that, it sounds like it would really work. It sounded balanced.
I'm a big fan of red velvet cake as well, so yeah.
I just want cake now.
Yeah.
I just want any food. I'm hungry. Someone said takeout.
I don't think we do take out cake over here.
Cake out.
Cake out.
Hey. When I had my tea room, I had a cake away.
Yeah, you did. You're right.
I did.
Cake away. I like that.
Yes.
And then somebody stole it and it's now in town.
Right, everyone. We have one Rate My Crepe recording left, and it's from Gillian, so please send yours.
I volunteer to go and do
anything
one.
to bump her off.
She keeps messaging me going, are you just ignoring it? Are you not going to play it? And I'm like, I am. You've just got ones to play before you.
God, Gillian, now. Send him a message right now. You're listening.
She's
just
not
send
in
him a
my
message.
good books at the moment
Don't
anyway.
worry,
She
I
had
don't
a go
care.
at
She's in
me
my
off
good
of the
books.
Producers Club episode last week, so I'm not talking to her.
In fact, now send him another one now. At the end of the show, send him another one.
So anyway, to get them in, Chris, how would they do that?
Well, if you would like to have your crepe rated on our show, simply record yourself, preferably in the parks, rating the crepe from 1 to 5. 1 being bleh, and 5 being hell yeah.
There we go.
And record yourself with that and send it to podcast@uuopodcast.com. And we will play your rating on here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. As I said earlier, originally I was going to play Thomas Stidman's review of the VIP tour he did. But then something dropped at Disney last week, and I thought, do you know what?
Was it a...
Well, we're about to find out, because it may well be. I mean, Tracy and I have been quite interested about it, to be quite honest. We've watched a lot of the vloggers that we watch using it, and I thought it was something that would be quite interesting for us to discuss, to be fair. Michelle, you got to use it.
I did, yeah. So Walt Disney World recently rolled out their new Fast Pass planning system for their Orlando parks. It's called Genie Plus. And as a lot of our listeners don't just visit Universal and go into Florida, I don't know why, but they don't. We thought it would be advantageous to discuss it here and also compare it to Universal's Express Pass.
Yes, I have questions from someone who's actually used it because it's weird.
It is weird. That's my preface. It's weird. So yeah, I did get to use it the first 2 days that it was available. So I was in park when it dropped. If anybody has been to Disneyland, it is similar to the old Max Pass system that they had out at Disneyland, in that it is only available to use day of. So you can't pre-book attractions like you did with the old Fast Pass system, which I like.
Yeah, that's good. Because that was always the biggest thing. Because if you had a hotel room, then you could book your fast passes before other people. And like if you're not staying on site, then you were at a disadvantage to others. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Correct. So this kind of leveled the playing field a bit, but it still gives you a slight edge if you are staying on property in one way, but I'll get to that later.
Okay.
So the first level is free. It's just called Genie. And everybody has access to that. And it's kind of a cool option for people that don't go very often and may not know how to plan out their day. So basically, when you open the app for the day, you select which park you're in, how many it gives you. It just kind of takes you through screen to screen and asks you what are some of the highlights that you would like to hit for the day. So it gives you a list of rides that you select, a list of shows. It even lets you select maybe some dining locations that you might want to fit into your day.
Okay.
And then you click through and it kind of does its magic and it creates a loose itinerary for you for the day based on forecasted wait times for both shows, rides, and even mobile orders.
So I'm assuming, Michelle, that it kind of, what it does, it'll go, right, so I'm going to the Magic Kingdom, I want to ride Pirates of the Caribbean, and it will say, this will be your best time to ride this ride.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It doesn't necessarily take into account that I saw location, which was my biggest issue, is like, I don't want to cross park constantly.
Okay.
Because a ride is low wait time.
Right.
So it's basically just based on forecasted waits.
Right.
Well, isn't it also doing, because I've seen some reviews of people using it like on YouTube and even saw some TikTok videos where the app is also really doing crowd control. So it kind of cares more about crowd control than your plans.
Yeah, but they did say that, didn't they? When they first brought out magic bands and stuff, that was the first stage of Disney trying to know where everyone is and push people in a certain direction so that crowds were spread out around the park rather than being in specific places where they normally are.
Well, those of us who know better, we do know that this is Disney's way of, crowd control. It's not so much about giving you your best day ever. It's about them trying to lead guests in one direction or another. And I know that for a fact because it would show, for instance, a forecasted wait time or even a low wait time at the moment, and you would get over there to it, and all the crowd is there.
No, because
everybody, where you just came from,
over there,
the wait times are low. So it's definitely moving crowds, that's for sure.
Yeah. And that's where it doesn't work. Because if it's telling everybody to do that, then what's the point?
It's like herding sheep, literally.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing I did like about it was that it does update real time. So, for instance, if I deviate from the plan at all, it knows that.
Okay.
And it recalculates. So it does recalculate if you refresh the screen, but it's not the most user-friendly technology in the world. So that's the basic Genie idea that I didn't really use very much, to be honest with you. The next upgraded option is the Genie Plus, and that is something that you do pay for, and it's $15 per person per day. And
plus
if you
tax.
have a package, plus tax.
Yes.
If you have a package, you can add it to your tickets in your package for the entire length of stay, or the length of your park tickets, or you can opt to purchase that in the park each day and just pick and choose which days you want to use it.
Michelle, if you book it for the entire, if you add it to your package for the entire length of your stay, do you get any sort of discount?
No.
No.
Not yet, at least.
See, that's
no.
I think if you're gonna jump all in, then they should give you some incentive.
I mean, I could see where a lot of people would want it just because of the ease of it, so they don't have to try to figure it out. At least from a travel agent perspective, our clients really do like concierge level assistance. So they like knowing that it's just handled for them. So that's pretty much what that benefit is for. However, it was pretty easy I wouldn't say it was easy. It took a bit of digging before I could find where to purchase it. But once you click through the process, it's really easy to add.
See, that surprises me. Disney usually makes spending money as easy as they possibly can.
Yeah. So the Genie Plus was a bit difficult to navigate. In that, there's not just a simple 1 or 2 buttons that you have to push in order to book a lightning lane. I had to really dig for it, which was not fun. The other thing I didn't like about it, so let me back up. So you purchase the Genie Plus, but then on top of that, you also have to book your return times for Lightning Lane, and you can only book one at a time. So you book one. Once you scan through that attraction, even while you're waiting in line, after you've scanned through, you can book another one. So it's just one at a time all throughout the day. What I didn't like about it is that I couldn't select my time. So
it just gave you
it would
a
only
time.
give me
Right.
It gave me the next available time slot.
Okay.
So for instance, we did our Lightning Lane, but next we were going to eat lunch. So I didn't necessarily want to select to go to Expedition Everest within the next hour. I wanted to go within the next hour and a half.
Yeah.
I couldn't choose that. So it was a bit of a pain
Like it used to
in
be.
that way.
When you used to have
Right.
the old express machines and the old fast pass machines, it usually give you like 3 or 4 different time windows, didn't it? And you could pick and choose whichever one you wanted.
Correct.
Yeah.
So for now, and that's really my biggest complaint of the system. And I hope that they take feedback from that and alter it. But for now, that was a big pain in the butt.
Yeah, because you think you might book to go on something that's massively popular that day, and the first available time slot when you go to book it is 6 o'clock that evening, which means you then can't book anything else until you've ridden that ride.
Yeah,
that would
it's not
annoy
on.
the life out of me.
Which did happen.
Really?
It was, I don't remember which attraction it was. Oh, I think it wasn't that. I don't remember which attraction it was, but there was one that we wanted to ride, but the next available, it was Smuggler's Run. The next available was like 6 o'clock at night. Well, it was only 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no.
So I could either select the 6 o'clock at night and not use Lightning Lane the whole rest of the day, or I use it the rest of the day and just miss out on Smuggler's Run. So
Yeah.
there's some caveats for sure.
Yeah.
Because at that point then, you go, right, I'm not going to book that 6 o'clock. I'll try again at maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. You know damn well that if at
And
10
they'll be
o'clock,
gone.
at 10 o'clock in the morning, if they're already showing 6 o'clock, then they're all going to be gone by lunchtime.
Exactly. Yep. So there were some caveats. It was still nice. Like once I did book it, it was seamless. Very easy, just like the old Fast Pass system. You scan your Magic Band, or you can scan it right from your phone. You don't even have to open your phone to scan your tickets as long as you have the
Really?
mobile pass set up. It was nice.
Okay.
So using it was easy, but figuring out how to use it was not so easy.
Just the interesting thing from my point of view is like theme parks have like they've gone, right, we know people are going to be on the phones, so we want to integrate that mobile technology in. But then they then kind of realize that everyone's staring at the phones now, and then tried to step away from that. And then by doing this, you're pushing people back into their phones again.
Yeah.
Yep. My battery died real fast.
Yeah, it will
because
do.
in order to really use the system, because it's constantly updating, you had to leave it running. You know, you couldn't select for it to use the app in the background only while it's open.
Right.
It's running constantly in the background, so it did run my battery down pretty fast. So the next upcharge level is just called Lightning Lane, which is
Yeah, I
confusing
hate
because
this.
that's also what you're using for Genie Plus. However, in each park, there are 2 attractions, and it's the most popular 2 attractions in each park. The standard Lightning Lane Genie Plus does not work for those 2 attractions. If you would like to use Lightning Lane for those, then you have to pay per use for those. So, for instance, at Hollywood Studios, it's Rise of the Resistance, and what was the other one?
Trying to think myself.
Mickey's Runaway Railroad.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
For Animal Kingdom, it was Flight of Passage and
Everest.
Expedition Everest. Have no idea why. Magic Kingdom, it was
Seven Dwarfs.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Space Mountain. And then Epcot, it was Frozen and Ratatouille.
Yeah, of course.
And those prices differ by day and by attraction.
Oh,
so
see, that day by day, like I get the extra upcharge, but to then have it dependent on the day.
Yeah, that's just gouging.
I know Universal do it with their Express Pass. I know the Express Passes go up dependent on the day you're there, but that's one ticket for a potentially every ride. On every ride,
Exactly.
like one ride on every ride, not just a one-off ride on the one that like Rise of the Resistance was always going to be the most expensive. It's $15.
Yes.
So if you've got that's the that's the Disney park Tracy and I are planning on going with the kids next year when we come over. We said we want to break things up rather than do a full week at Universal. We'll go to Disney. And we kind of had a conflab with the kids, and we kind of decided that Hollywood Studios was probably the best one that fit us all. Raymond's a Star Wars fan, Tracy's a Star Wars fan, Jade likes Toy Story. Do you know what? I'm happy, whatever. And that is the one ride at that park that I know I want to go on, Rise of the Resistance, because I know it's like the pinnacle of theme park attractions at the moment. But I don't know whether there's any way I would pay $60 on top of my park ticket to ride one attraction in a theme park.
And honestly, it really depends on the day. But on the day that we did, which was the day it dropped, we were at Hollywood Studios. Depending on the crowd levels for that day, like we probably could have just done Lightning Lane for Rise of the Resistance and not bought Genie Plus. So because the Rise of the Resistance was also $15 per person. So we didn't really use Lightning Lane a whole lot more, just our Genie Plus Lightning Lane, the rest of that day.
Oh, hang on. There's a question then. So you don't have to have the paid for Genie Plus to use the like add-on attractions. So you could you just walk into the park and you can still pay that up charge to ride that. You don't need. Okay, I didn't know that.
Correct. Yep. So we used it. We used the Lightning Lane upcharge for both Rise of the Resistance and Mickey's Runaway Railroad, just because we wanted to see what it was like. See what the process was like.
Was it worth it?
So,
do you think it was worth that upcharge for how long you waited? Because we've watched vlogs where, like, I'm not being funny, but if I'm paying $15 per person, and like they say, there's four of us. Say the four of us went here, $60 upcharge. I want to be walking on that. I want to be no longer than 5 minutes. If I'm paying that price.
I still waited. We still waited, but it was because the ride kept breaking down.
Okay.
So we still waited a good hour or more to get on the ride, which Robin and I rode it that morning in the standby line, and we waited the same amount of time.
Wow. Let's see. I'd be at guest services at that point. I've paid $15 to ride this ride.
Which we could have, but we were done by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they would have done something, but yeah. So, I mean, it's. I can see where it's going to be a beneficial system. I can see where they're nickel and diming us. I can see where they're using it to their own advantage. But I mean, it's still something that, we're going to use it.
Yep.
Guests are going to use it.
Yep. Of course they will, because there's always those people who want to up everybody else. I want to be better than the RIP tour as a Halloween Horror Nights. There's always that group of people.
Well, and also when you're in the park and you're hot and you're tired and your feet are hurting and your kid just wants to ride damn Ratatouille, you're going to be like, suck it. I'm going to pay the $9 per person and do it.
But it's ridiculous. It goes against, for me. I mean, it's like we've been visiting those parks since 2004, and I still remember going to Universal and having free express pass, the same as the fast pass was. You walk up to the entrance of that attraction, you stick your park ticket in, you get your wait time, you coughs up a little ticket, and off you go. I remember going into Islands of Adventure when apparently you were only supposed to allow 2 at a time. I remember going into Islands of Adventure and walking around, doing a full circle of the park for the first half an hour and having an express pass for every single attraction at that park.
Yep.
And now it's all about who can afford it.
It's pricing people out, and that is not what these places are about.
It really is, but at the same time, the place is so crowded. So I feel like they don't care that they're pricing people out. They have to thin the crowd.
Yeah, because they know, right? So it's that balance of it's like they raise the ticket prices every year. How far can we raise the ticket prices where the drop off of people not coming outweighs the money we're making?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So it's like less people are coming in, but because the park ticket's higher, we're still making more money, and it's the same with this. But I feel this is, and I know I'm going to get crap for this, right? I know I'm a Universal Orlando fan, and I feel Universal can't do any wrong and that Disney do everything wrong. But from my perspective, and I said this after we came out in 2013, Tracy and I both said the same thing. And that was when we were still pretty big Disney fans. We'd only been doing the podcast for a couple of years, so we weren't fully indoctrinated into Universal fans at that point. But I always felt they're both money grabbing. That's what theme parks do. But
Of course.
for Disney, it felt like it was right in your face that they weren't even tried to hide the fact that that's what they were doing. Whereas Universal, to be fair, Universal, I don't feel money grab. Like, how many times have we said on here, they're missing a trick? And Chris will go, "Lee, don't say anything because you're giving them ideas." How often have we said that on here?
A lot.
Right.
And this again is just another slap in the face for...
It is, but you know what? Most of us who go are going to pay for it. And, it'll become just part of the vacation that you just don't even bat an eyelash a year from now.
It's just stressful. It still makes it stressful for me.
I feel like the money that you're paying for it doesn't give you the flexibility that you should have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
right. And I really kind of feel like that's going to change because that was a big no. It just was like, what? I can't pick a time later than so I can go have lunch. It makes sense.
So you know what it is, don't you? Right. And I'm surprised. I had this conversation, funnily enough, with Jade the other day. I'm surprised it's took Disney so long to roll something like this out. How long have touring plans been going?
Oh, you said, the other day.
Oh, was it you I was talking to?
Me, yeah.
I knew I was talking to someone. How long has touring plans been going? And it's took Disney this long to go, why are they doing that? This is our park. We should be doing that. Someone else shouldn't be making money off something that we should be doing. And that's what they're trying to do. Get in on what touring plans have been doing.
Right.
You
know what? I have to give Disney some kudos, though. Robin and I didn't have much faith in Disney technology, but it didn't crash, which is like a miracle in and of itself.
Yes.
So that was good. But it was still nowhere near comparable to Universal's Express Pass system.
Because it's just easy.
Nowhere near it.
Universal Express is easy. There's no booking. Like, obviously, you got your virtual land, but you don't have to use them, right? If you've got Express, you stay at a hotel, you get your 2 days unlimited Express, I might add, and you just walk up to an attraction and get in line for it. There's none of this, I've got to wait until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever.
Well, but when you play with the numbers, right? So let's say I'm going from Sapphire to Royal Pacific. That upgrade so that I can get those free express passes, I'm paying at least $150 or more per night to stay at Royal Pacific.
And you just do one night. Like, if you're that budget, just do one night. And you still get 2 days express passes.
True, but not many people do that. They don't want to be jumping around all the time. So
you guys are also just looking at it as a pass. We're talking about staying at a hotel.
Exactly.
And you get a boat that goes in there.
At Disney, I stayed at Pop Century, right? Mm-hmm. And paid an extra $60, or no, for me and Robin, it was just an extra $30 for those quote unquote express pass options. So it still is more expensive to utilize Universal's express pass option, no matter how you look at it. But it's so much easier. Like you said, you just
the benefit
walk on.
The benefit is there for it.
Oh yeah.
But which hotels did you just compare there?
Sapphire
and Pop Century.
Royal. Well, Royal. She said she was going but Pop. She did Pop
Disney.
Century and Sapphire.
I know which one I'd rather stay in.
Yeah, of course.
But listen, I paid the same amount for Pop Century per night as I did Sapphire Falls.
Yeah, and which is the better of the two again?
Oh, like by a million times, Sapphire Falls.
So just quickly before we wrap this up, Michelle, because I know you've got to go and we've still got another episode to record. You mentioned briefly at the beginning that there was a benefit for staying on site for this.
Oh, yes. So the only benefit is for those extra Lightning Lane per ride Lightning Lane purchases. If you're staying on site, you can begin booking those attractions at 7 a.m., whereas anybody else not staying on site has to book them at park opening.
How does it know
for instance,
that?
Rise of the Resistance were almost sold out by the time the park opened because everybody staying on site got first dibs at them.
How does it know? How does it know that you're on site? Do you have to log in?
don't know.
Is it in the app? When you log into the app, will it ask?
It must be, yeah,
It must
because
have to
of
be
course
hotel room or
our
something.
tickets and our park reservations are
Yeah.
connected, so it must be
Your
that.
hotel room will be as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you do charge and deliveries to your room and
true.
stuff like that, yeah.
Yep.
Big Brother is always watching.
Yeah.
So that's the only benefit
See, that's
to staying
crappy.
on site.
And that's quite a big one, though, potentially.
But that's driving people to stay in
But
there.
it's only for Rise of the Resistance. All of the other ones had plenty of availability
Right.
all throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rise of
The
Resistance is
only other
still big.
benefit right now to staying on site is the 30 minutes early entry, which is a joke. And then if you're staying in a deluxe property, you also get extra magic hours at night. But that's it.
So 30 minutes extra early 30 minutes early entry. So by the time you got in after all that travel you've had to wait, that's it. Everybody else did
you
as well.
stay at any
They're
of-
already letting everybody else in too. So
You
it
stay at any of the
doesn't
on-site
matter.
hotels at Universal and you're getting an hour in.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's
and their prices went up for the hotels. So it's
Shocker.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Anyway.
I know we're pro-Universal because of what we do, but I still think they overall are nicer to the guests. I think.
at Disney.
No, at Universal.
maybe they're just a little sneakier.
Well, I don't know. Like I say, we've done a whole episode on upcharge events, ways you could
Yeah.
upcharge your trip to Universal because they don't do it. And I'm like, look, Jesus, let's go back to Scare Actor Dining for the Weekender. Michelle was on the phone trying to chuck 50 people at them, and they're like, I don't know whether we can book that.
I know,
And I'm
it's
like,
just
are you
like-
I'm not like,
kidding me?
what?
2.5 grand's worth of guaranteed bookings, and you're like, you don't know whether you can accept it?
Right?
Just
Yeah,
take
yeah.
my money, for God's
That's an
sake.
entire sitting covered.
Whereas Disney would be like, hell yeah.
Right.
It's just weird. I wish they'd... I don't want them to start doing what Disney are doing, but I wish they'd give other options that, like, you know what, I want to upcharge my trip a little bit. I want to be able to do something special extra that no one else is doing that isn't a
Right.
$4,000 RIP tour or a $250 VIP tour.
VIP.
Yeah.
The only thing that they have right now is that exclusive Harry Potter package.
Yeah.
But until dining plans come out, there's really not much you can do to upcharge other than add the photo pass, which, nah.
They've
Not
always
a-
struggled
not
with
a-
character meals at Universal, which
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a shame.
It is. I think that both Disney and Universal are going to have some more kinks to work out, but when it comes to the Fast Pass, Express Pass debacle, Universal still takes the cake.
Yeah.
100%.
It seems like it's more expensive at Universal, but just the effectiveness of the extra money is worth it just
Worth
for ease
it.
of use.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I hope, like I say, I reached out to the Producers Club and asked, would this be interested in talking about Genie Plus, knowing that Michelle was going down. I didn't actually know she was using it, but I know she was going to be dealing with it because she said you were there when it rolled out.
Yeah, and
stuff.
I'll be back this week and next week as well, off and on. So I'll be able to use it a little bit more after the opening. So
Yeah, if you want to tweet it, she's
Let's
on
hope it
Twitter
changed.
at the 1%er. So just send her all your questions
Oh
on
my
there. She's
God.
kidding. She's not on there as that, but you should be.
Totally need that to be
That would be
your
amazing.
Twitter handle now.
good
Cool.
Lord.
No, it's interesting. I think we probably could have talked a bit more about this. It just, it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves and to see if there is any repercussions. Like if Universal look at it and try and do their version of it. We've said for a long time, I think when Magic Bands came out, when the Tapu Tapu started at Volcano Bay, that was Universal starting to look at doing something like that, and they haven't. So
I don't know why, because that technology works
yeah,
great.
I think potentially you will see it, but not until Epic Universe opens. I think it will be built.
Yeah.
It will be built inherently into Epic Universe rather than trying to retrofit it into the two parks they've already got. Let's
Right.
just build it into what Epic Universe is, and then maybe come back and do it the other way once they've got it running smoothly on a park that's built with it.
True.
Yeah, cool,
Yeah.
awesome. Right, That's going to wrap up the show. Don't forget, you've got another week to get your artistic backstories in for our new HHN icons. Michelle is the agent, Tracy is the author, Chris is the bartender, and I am the host. You can send them to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. We've got quite a few in, so I'm hoping to get them read out in 2 weeks' time. Also, get your HHN 30 house lists to us. That is your 1 to 10, best to worst. You've got until November 6th to get both of those in. That email again is podcast@uuopodcast.com. And for now, we will wrap up with another Universal Is. And this one comes from our good buddy, Mr. Sam Naj. He sent me this last week. There's a very good reason why he sent me this one in. Anyway, if you're going to get involved, all you've got to do is drop us an email to podcast@uuopodcast.com or send them through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or whatever, what you think Universal is in 3 words or less. And because Sam is going to Orlando next week, or the week after, whatever it is, the first day us Brits are allowed back in the US, Sam says Universal is finally happening.
Nice.
See you next week, guys.
Guess that wraps things up for another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. You guys did all right. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Listen and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere podcasts are found. You can find our blog at uuopodcast.com. Send us your spews, which Lou gets your poo recordings, questions, or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, and our awesome sponsors, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company. So, until next time, don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.